All right, guys, welcome back to the Fountain of Truth podcast. It's been a long time coming. I have a guest with me.
Yep,
It's my homie Ethan, also goes by Moody 17. You can just introduce yourself if you want. Let everybody know, where to find your music and whatnot.
yep. It's Moody 17. You can follow me. Pretty much all of my pages are Moody 17. Instagram Moody 171M. Um, yeah, just search me up. You'll
Yeah,
find me.
definitely. And I can attest, this man is easily one of the best producers that I know personally and best rappers that I know too. So,
Thank you, thank you.
yeah, no, of course, man. Like my brother vouched for you back in the day. You remember when you came through for
Yeah,
that Music Garage show? That was a blast, honestly.
yeah, that was
Still to
amazing,
this
man.
day, probably my favorite show that
For
I
sure.
ever did.
Yeah, that was a good
And
time. I really enjoyed it, and I
yeah,
always
man, it was
thank y'all
fun.
for inviting me for sure.
Yeah, no, of course, honestly. And I mean, my brother was like, yo, we should get this kid because we were looking for other DJs and other people to open up for this show we did. We played at the Music Garage in Chicago, just for everyone that doesn't know. And, it was a blast, honestly. We just had like a bunch of good friends. And as I always say, like filling a small venue looks so much better than playing for an empty big venue. So I'd
Yeah,
much
yeah.
rather like have a bunch of people like jam packed in a small venue just because it looks so
Mm-hmm.
much better.
Yeah, and it's a lot more personal too, because you're right there with everybody.
Yeah, 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 for sure. All
Hmm.
right, so basically, I had a couple questions that I wanted to ask you. I just basically wanted to start with like, when did you start making music?
So I my first like making music would be I'm trying to think of exactly how old I was. I think this was what grade was this? This was probably like trying to think of the specific grade, but anyhow, it was when I lived in Chicago, and roughly it was probably like fifth grade, I think. Um, I found my friend's iPod. Like he just like left it over my grandpa's house one day, and I was over there and I just like found it, and I was like listening to music that was on there, and I was like starting to listen to Eminem a lot because he had
Yeah,
some Eminem songs on there, and I was just like, man, like this dude's so cold. So I think from there I kind of like started writing my own raps and would just do that over like YouTube instrumentals at the time.
mm-hmm.
And I had already been listening to like rap music, but I think like having listened to Eminem like really got me started. So I wasn't really recording anything, but that was kind of like my first introduction to starting rapping and just like starting like putting stuff together.
Yeah.
So
No, I feel
um
that.
yeah.
You started rapping before you like started making beats?
Yeah, so I was rapping first.
No way. I thought it was
Yeah.
the other way around.
No. I was rapping, like I was writing down my raps, and I would just kind of like do that. What ended up getting me into producing was I was in high school, and my homies at the time, they were always listening to like EDM, like dance music type stuff. And I remember I was kicking it with them one weekend, and my homie, his name's Eduardo. He played this song. It's by Lois the Child, who are actually two Chicago producers. And I didn't even know that at the time. But yeah, like they were just introducing me to all this like new music. And he played this song by Lois the Child called Compass. It's a remix of a song called Compass. And like that song was like so good at the time, and it hit
Yeah,
me like so hard. I was like, bro, I gotta figure out how like they're making this kind of music. And it was kind
yeah.
of like a future bassy style type
Mm-hmm.
EDM. But I was like, nah, bro, like this is so hard. Like I want to learn how like they're making this kind of music. So
Yeah,
that was my introduction to like DJing and like making beats like on the like with the software. So
yeah.
that was like freshman year. So that's
That's
how I
pretty
ended
cool.
up starting making beats. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool that like you had an inspirational moment that brought you to making music.
Yeah, yeah, for
Like
sure.
when I first started rapping, like so I was rapping when I was a kid. I was like 8 years old or whatever. And then
Hmm.
I kind of like got away from rap music. I started really getting into like punk rock, like Blink
Hmm.
182, Sum 41, like emo, Devil Wears Prada type shit. And then like
Hmm.
I would go to Warp Tour and like I really like faded away from rap music. And then when I got in high school, I started like uh chilling with my cousin and like some friends that were like at the school, and like basically we just be like hanging out, and
Yeah.
we would like kind of start freestyling, and a couple of my cousin's friends were like, bro, you should keep doing this, like And I was like, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I used to do it when I was young, but never anything serious.
Right.
And then that's like really what got me into like writing again, and then like actually
Mm-hmm.
pursuing it as a career. So
Yeah.
it's interesting when like that you have something that like clicks and it's like, yo, I'm gonna
Yeah,
start
for
doing
sure.
this.
Yeah, and it's similar. Like I would say that that's where we have a similarity in that way too, because when I started producing, I was making like EDM type stuff because that's just like what I was hearing and like the
Hmm.
type of stuff that when I heard like production and beats being made like through like FL or Ableton, when I started learning about what these producers were using to make the beats, I was like, okay, like I want to make that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I at the same time too also like stepped away from rap music and then was listening to like future bass and dubstep and stuff like that and began making that. But where I had kind of jumped back in to rap music and making more hip hop beats was my freshman year at college. Um,
yeah.
is when I started listening to Travis, cause yeah, when I started listening to Travis, cause he I forgot what album he had just recently put out. I think it was Birds in the Trap, and
Okay.
I heard Antidote when I first heard that song, I didn't like it, so I was just like, all right, it's whatever.
Yeah,
But then I heard Goosebumps, and I had known the song, but then I was like listening to it again while I was in college, and I was
yeah.
like, let me just check the album out, like where it's from. And so I started listening to that whole album, and that album like definitely revitalized like my love for like rap music
Bro,
and
I've always loved Travis Scott's music, to be honest.
yeah,
That
yeah,
one like that Rodeo album, is that what it's
yeah,
called, or
yeah.
some shit
Rodeo,
like that? Oh my
I love
god,
that
that
album, bro.
yeah, the that one like that Mamacita, that song was
Yeah,
raw. I don't know
that
if this
one's on
song was on there.
that one's on Days Before Rodeo.
Oh, that was
Mamacita's that one's on Days Before Rodeo. That was before Rodeo, but I mean
okay,
that song's
Days
great
Before
too.
Rodeo is the one that I heard that
Okay,
first. That's the one I heard first. That was when I got
yeah,
introduced to him. And he was like super like experimental. Like his music
yeah,
was super experimental. And then he started like making more like hits as opposed
yeah,
like the other songs were hits, but they were like super experimental.
yeah,
And then
for
like they
sure.
were like sonically like this man was like molding sound waves is how I felt like
Yeah,
I would describe it. But and then
yeah,
you had then he started making more like just like traditional like hits, basically, just
yeah,
like songs that
yeah.
were like catchy and to the point
Mm-hmm.
where I thought he was incredibly talented. And I really liked that he would use like that deep voice underneath his
Oh
auto
yeah.
tune,
Mm-hmm.
like, and that
Mm-hmm.
like that's one song I think it's called Uptown, like I'm a
Yeah.
monster. Yeah,
Yeah.
that song was raw too.
Yep. 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 Yeah. Yeah. He's like he definitely has pushed forward like just sound, especially like with trap music. Just like the sort of experimental nature of trap music and how it
Mm-hmm.
can go.
Yeah.
Just playing around with like vocal effects and stuff like that. Like, yeah,
And
he's
the
definitely
ad
very
libs,
talented with
bro.
that. Oh yeah, yeah. He definitely created a whole wave with ad libs and his influence in just even rap music today is for sure like felt.
For sure. Yeah, 100%. He's easily one of the greatest of like of our generation, I would say.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
I mean, that's how even how I feel about Drake.
Mm,
Like bar for bar, Drake might not be like this spitter with like all this lyrical content, but it's just so
yeah.
influential. That's what people don't
Yeah.
realize is
He
like,
got crazy quotables from his
yes,
songs.
exactly. And like for me, I'm never really like obviously if you write, record, produce everything yourself or you write it yourself, you're obviously like you on a different level. But for me, I'm just like, what's the final product sound like, man? I don't really care
Yeah.
about like how you get there, as long as you're not like
Yeah.
stealing the music straight up. But I mean, for the
Yeah.
most part, from what I've heard, he's paying the songwriters well. So I mean,
Yeah.
if you're going about it the proper way, I don't care. How does the final product sound? That's usually what I'm going to.
Yeah. That makes me think because I saw on like Twitter at one point they had uploaded like a little it was like a little short snippet of a reference track to to Sicko Mode. It was
Hmm.
Sci-Hi the Prince, if you know who Sci-Hi is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it was like it was I think it was him doing like somewhat of the flow for Sicko Mode. And like a lot of people were kind of like talking about Travis, like, oh, like you didn't come up with the flow or something like that. But it's like, I mean, if you think about it, one way that I think about it is like music is like produced on such a fast level like nowadays that it's like if you got like a reference track, it's like there's nothing wrong with that. Like
yeah,
it's about it's like you said, it's kind of like the end product. It's like it's not like he didn't end up, like doing his own performance and his own style. And
yeah,
as far as you know, it was just like the beginning of the verse that kind of like just started it out. So maybe he kind of like finished it with more of his own flow. So, like
yeah.
kind of whatever helps you to just like keep making the music so that way you can constantly be providing the people who listen to your music with something.
And also, Sci-Hi the Prince, I'm pretty sure is on Good Music, and I'm pretty
I think
sure
so. Yeah.
Travis Scott also. I don't know if he still is, but he was signed with Good Music for a long time.
Yeah.
So I mean, they might have been
Right.
with
Just
the same producers, like
in the same room,
creating.
just
Yeah,
one
exactly.
day,
You know what I'm
just
saying? Like
trading ideas and stuff. So
exactly,
never know how that
exactly.
stuff comes about.
So another thing I kind of wanted to ask you was like, what's your main goal? Would you say in regards to music?
My main goal. Um, my main goal, I think, is to just constantly be able to, rather than constantly, I would say consistently, just be able to provide like just an experience, uh, uh something for like my listeners to like delve into a little bit. And I
Hmm.
think that that for sure comes as an inspiration from Travis, just him being the person who kind of like revitalized my interest and love for rap. Because like we were just talking about, like albums like Days Before Rodeo and Birds in the Trap, like he's so good at like building a world with his albums. Like it's like you're almost in another place when you're listening to his music. So
Yeah,
when I make albums, like that's kind of the effect that I want to have on people. Um and just overall in terms of just like goals, like in particular, like of course there are artists that that I want to work with, both local or independent,
yeah,
or also just like mainstream. That would be kind of more like a material goal, but just in sort of a long-term overarching sense is just to be able to just consistently make music, um to have it just sustain me so that way I can continue doing it and just continue providing
yeah,
just a world for people to kind of dive into, and listen to, and then also know that like what I'm saying is like how I really feel, and then in turn, like, of course I feel like every musician's goal is to just like tap in and link with people who are feeling the exact same thing as them. So um that's really what I want to do with my music.
that kind of reminds me of one of Kendrick's lines. I think it said like, "May my music take my place when I'm gone." It's
Mm-hmm.
basically like give people like a sneak peek into like your mind, basically.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like
and oh, what were you gonna say?
no, that's like that was pretty much it. Like that,
Yeah,
giving
yeah, just
people
giving
like
people a sneak peek into your life, your mind, um and yeah, just like I said, just creating a world for people to dive into, for sure.
yeah, 100%. So who would you want to work with? I didn't actually write that like down, but like if you could, and I'm not talking about
Yeah.
like local artists. Like if you could work with anybody big, like for me, I would want to work with Wayne. Like Lil Wayne, like I was looking up to him
Yeah.
when I was a kid. My
Uh-huh.
goal, like ideally, biggest artist, I would love to work with Lil Wayne.
Lil Wayne. Man, I haven't thought about
Travis,
this in a while. I think I would say Travis. I don't know. I've started listening to so many like just more artists and diving into their catalogs a lot
yeah,
more. But
and like not even just like producing. Like first, I would say like who would you want to like produce for? Like as far as a
okay,
rapper,
who would I want to
because that's almost
produce
two different
for?
questions. Who'd you rather rap with, and who would you
Yeah, who
prefer?
would rather produce for? Produce for. If I go mainstream, I would probably say I would probably say Future right
Mm-hmm.
now. I would say Future right now because I've been listening to The Wizard lately.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that album is like almost perfect. There's like one song that I skip pretty regularly. I'm trying to think of which one it is. Um, or not really skip, but I'll listen to it sometimes. I'll just be like, all right, like
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd
Yeah.
much rather listen to another song. But
Yeah.
I think it's Tricks on Me. That's like at the very tail end. But other than that, like every song on that album is a straight hit.
That's
And just the
awesome.
way Future be flowing is just like so crazy. So I think like making a beat with Future would be really,
Hell
really
yeah.
dope.
Hell yeah. He's another one who's super influential.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
And it's
Future
funny,
is
when I was in
definitely
high
something
school, I
different.
was that like lyrical content. Everything needs to be,
Mm-hmm.
like superb. And then I was like, I got older and I realized like it's about a vibe, bro. Like it's
Yeah.
just creating a sound. There are artists who are like sonic creators. I don't know
Yeah.
what to say.
Sonic geniuses.
Yes, like they
Sonic
create a
geniuses.
sound. Like that's what they're doing. And then like they're using words to induce emotions in people. So they're saying something that makes you feel a certain way. And then there
Yeah,
are those
straight up.
people who like are like poets, who write. and have like bars like
Yeah.
locksmith type shit, you know, like
Mm-hmm.
where they spit like real, like Joey Badass and Mick Jenkins type shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it comes down to just the frequency, because that's really what music is at the end of the day. Like when you play a piano or something like that, when you play a key, any key, it's just a frequency, and they're
Hmm.
just specific frequencies. And so then like when you combine that and you keep building and building on top of that, especially with just the way that music is made today, it's actually really crazy. Like when you think of our sheer capability and like our grasp as like human beings on music,
Yeah,
it's incredibly unique. Like there's no other species like on the planet who makes music like the same way that we do.
agree.
So music at the end of the day is just like a frequency. And so like you say, when you're creating a vibe, you're creating a frequency for people to vibe out to.
There are certain things that were pretty much consistent through every single tribe in human
Yep.
history, and that's like religion, music, and eating meat, basically eating animal products,
Yeah.
like more some would eat more plants than others, but basically it
Hmm.
was like they all like prized animal foods, they all like
Yeah.
hunted, like ate fish, like they would go out of their way to, because that was the only way to like procure enough calories in nature, um was through eating animal products, is just so dense in calories. And then
Hmm.
they would also they'd worship a higher power of some sort, whether it
Yeah.
was like whether it was I forgot like the terms, but basically like the worship of one god or the worship of many
Hmm.
gods. Like basically,
Yeah.
no matter what it was, they would either have,
Some higher power.
yeah, they believed in some higher power they would worship in some way, and then like
Hmm.
song and dance, like
Yeah.
they that was like common amongst all tribes and basically like forever in human history,
Yeah.
which is crazy because like music does really transcend.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's certain things that transcend.
Yeah, yeah, certainly. This one, he's actually pretty popular. Some people may know who this is. He's a clinical psychologist, Jordan Peterson.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, you probably know who he is.
Oh yeah. Of course.
Um, um, some in one of his videos that I watched before, like he basically compares like concerts and things like that to like these like quasi religious sort of gatherings, because that's kind of what it is. Like when you go and you watch a really good performer, or a really popular performer, like it makes me think about like Michael Jackson. I forgot what tour this was, but I always think of this video of Michael Jackson, like when he came up on stage. He came from under the stage and up on the stage, and like everybody's going crazy
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like people
Yeah.
are like screaming, and like this man he didn't even start singing yet, but he just turned his head, and people are straight up passing out at the
Yeah.
concert, and
Yeah.
all he
Yeah.
did was
Yeah.
turn
I
his
think I've
head.
seen a video like that, bro. Like where
Yeah.
it's just his persona. Well, Michael
Yeah.
Jackson on a level of no other, just because
Yeah.
like just his persona, like the way he presented himself, the
Yep.
dancing, like just everything was superb. Like
Yeah,
it
so
was
like
perfect.
people definitely have like those intense effect on people. So performances and concerts and things like that, along with this music, like I say, just music being a frequency that you can kind of like give out to other people, is definitely akin
It's
to
like a
like a quasi
universal
religious.
language.
Yeah, yeah,
Similar
certainly.
to like I've heard people say like what language does someone cry in? You know, like there's like crying,
Right.
laughter, like there are certain things
Yeah.
that are just like human nature. It just transcends
Mm-hmm.
our all languages.
Yeah, certainly. Certainly.
But that's one thing too that I really like about like the different types of music throughout the world, and especially like the adoption of like hip hop and shit. Like
Mm-hmm.
I feel like people who speak Spanish sound really good on rap music, and maybe it's not just rap music as much as it's like they've created their own style, like that reggaeton, that type of
Mm-hmm.
like where the drum beats are like boom 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 boom
Yeah.
boom boom, like where they all
Yeah.
have like they've created something that's like their own, and it just sounds so good, bro. Like I'm not trying to like get heat for saying this, but I listen to like some European rappers, bro, and they just sound so like the accent is just hard to like, but
Get
like bro, like
into.
yeah, like I mean they still they're spitters, bro, like they're raw, but like you listen to some of these what's that, Bad Bunny, and like
Yeah.
bro,
Yeah.
they're just so raw. Like it's just I don't
Yeah,
know.
they just
That's
kind of
just
they
me
flow into it
personally.
very well.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's the language too. Like the language just
Yeah.
sounds really good.
Certainly, certainly.
Another thing so that I wanted to ask was like, how would you define success?
Um,
Like whether
Success.
in music or anything, just in life or, like
Yeah.
whatever.
Um, Success for everyone is different, and I think it's a matter of asking yourself what you really, really want. Um, but I do think there's like a bit of I don't want to say rules, but I definitely think there's a way to go about trying to define your success.
Mhm.
And I think most importantly, it should be not something that's outside of yourself.
Yeah.
Not like basing it on something that could basically like deteriorate or be here one moment and gone the next.
Mhm.
Um if you can find a way to determine like success for yourself internally, that's the best way, because you'll always have you'll always have your attitude, your perception. So if you can achieve some sort of success that is intrinsically fulfilling, then that's the best way. For me,
100%.
success, just as a musician, is I've thought about this a lot. It's I think this goes just like along with my goals just as a musician, is to just for the rest of my life being able to make music. And I think particularly being able to make music videos, because
Mhm.
I really love music videos, like really good music videos. Like my favorite music video I still think of all time is Goosebumps. That
Yeah.
music video is just so cool. um I've been watching a lot of like Future's music videos, which are really cool. um I watched some of the music videos of um artists that are here in Rockford where I'm at.
Yeah.
Some of the local artists here, and they're really cool. And I think that's a part of the world building that I kind of want to accomplish. Is just like when you watch a music video, the visuals that go along with the music just helps to develop that world.
So
So
much.
um
That's why I'm lucky I got a brother who's a videographer.
yeah, and he shoots amazing videos.
Yeah, man, it's
So
crazy. And
yeah, and
what's
the one
crazy
that
is
you
he was Cheech
uh, uh,
Beats, like where
oh
he
yeah,
started on
yep,
the beats.
making
And
beats.
then once I got injured, man, I hurt my shoulder. He was like, well, what am I going to do now? Like he said, I'm
And
going to
he
do videos, I'm
just
going to do
starts
this.
shooting the videos.
Yeah, like he barely started. He did like the first video he did was for me.
Yeah.
Like I don't even know if we released it. We might have released it. We had like honestly, he filmed like 3 videos for me, but I never
Uh-huh.
dropped them. And then one
Uh-huh.
of them I dropped, and then the other one is the one I recently dropped, which I
At
haven't
the
worked
beginning
with
of
my
this
own
year.
brother. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that one's great, bro. I love that video.
Yeah, bro. Like
It looks so
I
good.
feel like that video and like that song for me is like so raw, but it's just since I've been away for so long, I kind of lost a lot of the momentum that I had.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not like I'm making music kind of for my own sanity, but I'm not trying to like get wrapped up in this like that I need to do it for a career like I was before. So I'm trying to branch out
Mm-hmm.
into other things, which is why I'm like doing the Fountain of Truth podcast, and I'm doing like
Mm-hmm.
um eventually I would like to open up like a holistic healing clinic or something, like
Yeah.
help people reverse illnesses, like I mean, my
Yeah.
situation, like I've come
Yeah.
from the depths, man. Like I was out, so I mean,
Yeah.
if I can get back from being bedridden basically in a wheelchair, I'm pretty sure people could do anything that they really put their mind to. I swear to God. Like
Uh-huh. Yeah.
um
Yeah. I feel that.
and
Yeah.
just
And
seeing people like around me, like suffering with like chronic illnesses and shit, like
mm-hmm.
that like I do feel like most of these illnesses are manageable with diet, lifestyle, exercise, which kind of leads us into our next topic, talking about fitness and health and stuff,
Yeah.
because I really do think that like so many modern illnesses stem from insulin resistance and stems from the overconsumption of carbohydrates and
Yeah.
in particular like refined carbohydrates. I mean, there were tribes throughout the world that like ate a lot of carbs and ate a lot of plants, and but they
Yeah.
were getting them from like whole food sources. It wasn't
Yeah.
like you know like white flour and white sugar and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. And then the vegetable oils, like that shit's terrible for you. So
Yeah.
um
Yeah.
yeah, so I mean, I really think that I could help people and I have something to offer in regards to helping people, maybe manage blood sugar issues. And I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I've seen so many people online, and granted, I mean, it's the internet, but I mean, there's a guy, Mike the Heal Your Gut guy online, who's like
Mm-hmm.
reversed Crohn's colitis. And
Wow.
like I have a friend who's suffered from colitis, and that's really helped me like dive into it. I was dealing with a lot of digestive issues myself, so that had me like
Mm-hmm.
looking into ways that I could like manage that. And
Manage
some
it.
of the stuff that I've like looked into is really like changed my perspective, like eating like easy to digest foods and stuff, and not feeding bad bacteria with straight
Mm-hmm.
sugar all the time.
Yeah, yeah, and kind of to piggyback off like what you said too. Uh, yeah, like it's definitely a part of something that I'm trying to do like with my music, but also like you said, just with fitness, that's also another passion of mine as well. So as you know, like I've been going to school recently, like I'm trying to get my personal training certificate, and then going on to just doing stuff like that, being concerned with fitness. So that would be for sure another thing that I would like to dive into. And part of that whole success thing is just helping people get more healthy. Like that's definitely a genuine
Yeah.
concern of mine. Just like I want to help people hit their fitness goals
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
just be more healthy in whatever way possible. And
You know, what's
so
funny is my wife is actually in the other room working on her fitness, her personal training course right now. So she's
so
doing it
crazy.
so she could be, she wants to be a yoga instructor. So
So
she's
crazy.
taking like some sort of class basically she's gonna be able to be the personal trainer, and then she moves basically branches right into yoga instructor.
Cool. Cool
She
stuff.
could have done a yoga instructor class, but I mean, this one was only a little bit more money and you get both
Yeah.
certifications. So
Yeah.
that was the move.
Smart.
So, and then having her involved too, because I think yoga is like perfect for people. A lot of people are like, oh, it's just stretching. And it's like, yeah, until you
Mhm.
do it in a
You need that.
sauna.
Right.
Yeah, until you do it in a sauna and you realize how much stability, it's not just flexibility, it's stability, mobility. Like there's a
Yeah.
lot of strength
Control.
involved. Yeah, 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 for sure.
Control of just
Breathing.
like smaller muscles and having I'm trying to think of the word or the term. It's almost like people who are in CrossFit because they do a lot of they do a lot of I'm trying to think of the term, but they have just very good control of their muscles. Like they're able to, I guess like you said, just be more stable
Yeah, that
and do
mind to
these
muscle
movements.
connection type shit.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, and especially as someone who like exercises or like body builds or like does a lot of resistance training, you're always like flexing. So sometimes it's good to like relax,
Yeah,
just kind of let
certainly.
yourself like relax a little bit. So that's like
Hmm.
the yin and the yang, as Paul Check would say,
Yeah.
getting, both sides of do two different types of energy basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, like how often do you exercise? Like what's your fitness routine look like?
So I try and exercise at least 3 times a week.
Yeah.
A dedicated 3 times a week. And that's mostly strength training. At the moment, I definitely want to get into some more plyometric type exercises. Um, and I'll add in cardio. On like an off day
Mm-hmm.
that I'm either not strength training or if I kind of just like think about it. I've kind of been scared to do cardio a little bit because I don't know if I told you this, but like not too long ago, I was after I had worked out, and I had been doing this for a while. After I had worked out, I got on the treadmill and I was just like kind of casually running and just I don't know how or why, but for whatever reason, was like my left leg just started to straight seize up, like my muscle just like stiffened like this.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why. Like I said, I had been doing it, and I don't think I went like particularly crazy in my exercises
I thought you were
before.
gonna tell me you passed out.
No, 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 no. I felt like I was because like literally. So what happened was my left leg kind of was like tensing up, and I was like, oh, this isn't good. So then I like stepped off to the sides of the treadmill, and I
Yeah.
was kind of just like trying to stop running to see if it would just like calm down, and it
Yeah.
wasn't. And then it started to kind of happen to my right leg, and I was like, oh, I'm not gonna be able to stand up.
Yeah, for real?
Yeah,
Damn.
and so it started to
Was
like
it like a
seize up.
cramp?
Yeah, that's pretty much like what it was. It was just like an intense cramp, and my leg was just like I couldn't bend my leg. Like my leg was just straight. So it was just like seizing up, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna just get off real quick. So I turned off the treadmill, and I still couldn't bend my leg. So I did get on the ground. Like I just laid down on the ground, and I was just
Yeah.
hoping that after a while it would just stop. And it
Damn,
didn't.
bro. I don't mean to laugh, but
No, no, it's really funny. I still laugh about it because I was on the ground for like I don't even know like 2 minutes,
damn,
and
bro.
and what's crazy is that there were definitely people around, but nobody was saying anything, and I was chilling. I didn't mind. Like I wasn't mad at anybody. I was just like, I was just hoping it would stop.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was my focus. But then after a while, like some dude came over and he was like, "Oh, bro, you good?" And I was like, "No, I'm not good, bro." And he was like, "Oh, you like need anything?" I was like, "Yeah, man. Can you give me some water?" And he went to go give me some water, and he helped me stretch out my leg. And he's like, "Yeah, man, you gotta just like warm up before you do that." And I was like, "I don't know. I felt pretty warmed up. Like I said, I don't know what happened, but
yeah. You
yeah.
know, what I think might help with some of that is like magnesium, bro. Like, cause I was
Oh
dealing
yeah,
with a
yeah.
lot of like muscle issues and stuff too, a lot of cramping, a lot of like I was strained muscles all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But magnesium is just like a relaxant, and it's hard
Oh
to
yeah,
get from food because our soils are so depleted. So,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, like
yeah.
calcium's known as like the constricting
Mm-hmm.
mineral, and then magnesium's the relaxing one. So,
Yeah, yeah. But to answer your question though, a little bit more, it's like I try and exercise three times a day, or not 3 times a day, 3 times a week. That would be insane.
right, like a
Um,
UFC fighter.
straight up. Yeah, like 3 times a week. And I'll kind of have set days on what I'll do. So if I do like a chest day, I'll do chest. If I'm trying to actually, I'll use bench press either to max or rep out. If I'm focusing more on repetitions, or if I'm just doing a max, and I'll do like a chest fly, also to work with chest. I typically do like 2 exercises on a specific muscle group, doing 3 sets of about 10 typically.
Hmm.
Um, and then I'll move to another muscle group and kind of do the same thing. So I'll start with chest if I'm doing a chest day, and then I'll do kind of like my traps and shoulders,
Yeah.
and then triceps, um, and then finish out with abs. After every workout, I always do
So you
abs.
do
Every single
core.
time.
You
Yeah,
definitely do some core. Yeah.
every day,
Good
every day that I
shit.
work out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
Yeah,
I feel that for sure.
yeah,
Yeah, because I mean, I've definitely noticed your gains, bro. Like it's definitely been
yeah, man.
inspiring to see. And I mean, I just did chest day today, and I mean, I hope one day I can get to the point where I like I have the body that I wanted. You know, like I
Mm-hmm.
was really starting to make gains before, and then I freaking tore my rotator cuff, and that sets you
Yeah.
back, bro. Like
Oh
it's
yeah, man.
so like I'm dealing with that. I mean, even now when I exercise, like my shoulder will fatigue before my chest will fatigue. But I'm
Right.
starting to
Yeah.
get to the point where like it's balanced out again. I kind of
Mm-hmm.
tweaked the other shoulder the other day when I was exercising.
Uh-huh.
My muscles started cramping, and I was just like, no,
Oh
no, no, like
yeah.
so I just started stretching. It kind of went away, and then
Mm-hmm.
the last like few days, it's just been like, nah, I should have stopped. I should have just chilled. But I mean, it's all good now. Like I did chest day and stuff, so
Yeah.
I didn't tear nothing. It didn't. I
Good,
mean,
good, good,
maybe a
good.
slight little baby strain, but
Uh-huh.
I mean, I'm all good. But
Good, good.
yeah, like, have you ever had any like sort of injuries besides like the cramping of the legs? Have you ever sustained any sort of injuries?
Uh
No tears, nothing.
nah, no tears, no uh yeah, nothing like that.
Yeah, good. Never threw out your back deadlifting.
No, I don't think so. I don't think
Do
so.
you
I
deadlift? Do
I
you do
do.
like those? Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I do deadlift. I was pretty fortunate. When I first started like exercising regularly, I at the time I was working at a chiropractic clinic, and the one of the techs who worked there with me, my coworker,
yeah.
he was always in the gym, and he kind of got me in there, and he showed me form and
That's
how to do
great,
stuff
dude.
right. Yeah, yeah,
Those are the people you want to work out with. Like I've even heard
yeah.
like, like personal trainers are great and everything, but I mean, if you can work out with like either a chiropractor or like a physical therapist who
Mm-hmm.
like understands like body
The body.
mechanics and
Yep.
is like, like literally, I mean, like really has studied thoroughly body mechanics and proper range of motion and
Yeah.
just your like just your the anatomy of your musculoskeletal system and stuff like that's
Yeah.
it's just different than just somebody who's just like push harder, bro. Like just
Right.
keep lifting,
Yeah. Straight
just
up. Straight
lift
up. Straight
heavy,
up.
eat protein, basically.
Right. Yeah. So
Um,
I was pretty fortunate to kind of be beginning with him, and so yeah, I've been able to avoid any sort of major injury.
well, that's good, man. And so like I that kind of leads me into what I was saying. Like thinking next is like, what's your like post workout meals or like what's your diet looking like? I know I briefly asked you the other day, but like, is it like 3 meals on top of a protein drink? Is it like
Mm-hmm.
4 meals? Like how are you splitting it usually?
Um, hmm. Well, my metabolism is pretty high. I think naturally. Because even before I started exercising, I could kind of eat mostly whatever I wanted. I mean, I didn't like eat poorly, but wasn't necessarily healthy. It definitely wasn't as conscious as I am now about it.
Yeah,
Um, so I think my metabolism has always been pretty high.
you telling me, bro?
Um,
I'm the skinniest motherfucker.
yeah, and so I know for sure that I definitely like will eat something in the morning, I'll eat lunch, and I'll eat something for dinner. So I know I eat like 3 times a day for sure. Um, and like I said, I'm definitely more conscious of it now. I don't always make the best decisions on like what I eat. Like I'll still eat like a bowl of cereal in the morning occasionally,
Yeah,
but now I'll consciously think to myself like, okay, like instead of doing that, I'll make yogurt and I'll put and I use Greek yogurt.
yeah,
I'll put just slices of banana in there, strawberries,
yeah.
um
Unsweetened
and
yogurt.
yeah, I don't think it's sweetened. I
Yeah,
don't think
yeah,
it's sweetened.
yeah. Just
Um
plain yogurt. Yeah.
yeah,
I was just gonna say
and
because that's the move, like where then you can like control the sweetness yourself, basically.
right, yeah. Sometimes what I'll actually do is I'll put just a little bit of honey in there.
Yeah, throw some raw
Um
honey, bro. Like
yeah,
that's the move.
exactly. Yeah, cuz it's like a natural sweetener type
Yeah,
thing. So I'll just throw in a little bit of honey and maybe some peanuts just for like crunch and then just to get
yeah,
a little bit more
for sure.
protein in
Little
there.
granola type, like yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
So that's something that I'll eat for breakfast pretty regularly.
one thing I've heard too that's like really good about raw honey is there's an enzyme in it that like it digests itself basically, so it you use less insulin
Mm,
for the
okay.
same amount of sugar basically. So
Right.
like
Okay.
raw honey has an enzyme in it that basically you don't need to produce as much insulin to digest it. I don't know the mechanism involved, but
I
I've
didn't
heard
know
that
that.
before. I've heard people say that. So I mean,
Okay.
I would I don't know it as 100% fact, but that's what I've
Right.
heard before. So that
Mhm.
stuff's pretty interesting. Like raw honey, I usually I get raw honey from a local farm up the street from me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm really into that. Like my last few meals, I mean, I'm not trying to be obsessive over it, but I mean,
Mhm.
I have dealt with some digestive issues in the past, so it's kind of made me like really
Yeah.
look at diet differently. So I've
Yeah.
like a lot of the food, like I posted a picture the other day and like it was like literally all of the food was organic and from the farm. So it was like
Yeah.
organic potatoes. And granted, I mean it's not local, but I mean it's still like better than nothing at this point. So I mean it's like
Mhm.
organic potatoes, some like organic peppers with organic onions kind of like just mixed together in some coconut oil, and then I had
Mm.
some grass-fed ground beef and a couple scrambled eggs that were from the farm as well, some pasture-raised eggs.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, like and then I'll do a protein drink like 3 hours later, kind of thing. And I found
Yep.
some grass-fed protein by now, I think Now Sports or whatever. And
Mhm.
yeah, so I've been doing that, and it's got like no additives. It's unflavored, but I mean, for the most part, I use
Mhm.
like raw cacao nibs
Yeah.
and like almost like unsweetened cocoa powder. Add my own little sweetener if I want, or
Nice.
I'll like freeze a banana basically
Yeah.
and do that. So I like control like the ingredients myself basically, and
Yeah.
then um, I usually eat 3 meals and then my protein drink on top of that. But
Yep.
like for me, I haven't necessarily been gaining a whole lot of weight. I've kind of plateaued on my weight gain, but I'm at
Mhm.
where I was before I hurt my shoulder. So
Mhm.
I'm like kind of at what I would say is like my normal body weight, but
Mhm.
I'm like filling out muscle wise. Like so I'm
Yeah.
not necessarily like gaining weight, but my muscles are
Yeah.
feeling better, looking better. So I'm gonna keep trying to gain weight, but at the same time, like if I just keep stuffing my face, I don't gain weight, but then I feel like shit. So I'm not trying to
Yeah.
like worry too much about I need to, eat, every 2 hours, because that
Right.
that wreaked havoc on my gut when I was doing
Yeah.
that.
That
So
just be doing too much. Yeah.
it
And
is,
then you
man.
won't feel good and like if you are constantly eating and you might like not feel like working out as much or something like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Stuff
And
like that.
it's not to mention like, I mean, I mean, I'm exercising like not just like I mean looking cool, like looking good is nice, but like I'm doing it more so for like joint health and
Yeah.
just health in general. Like
Mhm.
I would like to be able to like I have a blood glucose monitor
Yeah.
just to like track my blood sugar, my fasting blood sugar and stuff. I want to like
Mhm.
just have that whole like lifestyle approach to
Yeah.
health. Like
Just
it's
just
something
staying
I'm
healthy.
exactly, yeah, like and
Yeah.
I've been eating like I was eating like a lot of carbs, like not just like carbs, but like cookies, pastries, like just
Yeah.
making them homemade. But I was eating a lot. Like I'd smack like 6, 7 cookies after my dinner, just
Hmm.
trying to gain weight, and it was working
Yeah.
when because I got down to 100 pounds, bro. At 6 feet tall, that's like dangerous. So I was like, oh my god,
Yeah.
I need to gain weight. So I just started eating a lot of food, and when I went to the doctor, got some blood work done, everything was cool, but my fasting blood sugar was pretty high. It was like
Yeah.
99, and like once you get like above 100, like basically normal fasting blood glucose is like 70 to 99. So I
Oh
was like
wow.
at 99. If
Yeah.
you get to
You were
100
at.
and higher, it's like pre-diabetes.
Yeah.
So like
Wow.
I was getting pretty high. So I was just like, and I'm starting to think that most Americans fluctuate between like normal metabolic health and pre-diabetes just
Hmm.
like throughout their life, kind of
Yeah.
before they actually get into full-blown type 2 diabetes. Like I think that we kind of fluctuate, and the way you exercise probably like exercise probably brings you back down into having a normal metabolic
Yeah. Ex- Exercise
health.
definitely has an effect.
Yeah,
On that
dude,
for
I've
sure.
noticed that. I've tested like my blood sugar before a workout and after a workout, and it will
Hmm.
definitely go down. Like
Yeah.
it's
Because it has. I'm pretty sure exercise. It kind of it stimulates insulin.
Yeah, and
Um.
it's like lowering, like you're using the sugar like that is
Yeah.
stored up, you know. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Blood glucose and all that stuff.
I mean your blood sugar might go up while you're exercising, but like when you're done exercising, like
Afterwards.
it's
Yeah.
yeah, I've been, and then I felt like really good because one time I tested it in the morning, I was like 110, bro. I was like, oh my god, like, but
Yeah.
I be eating like. I'm telling you, like I've been really trying to gain weight, and then I just started feeling like shit. So then I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna go back to just eating 3 meals at like instead of like eating so many carbs, I'm just gonna like turn up my protein a little bit
Right.
basically,
Yeah.
and
To kind
like
of shift where the shift the macros.
exactly. So
Mm.
my mom's been doing keto right now, so
Go
she's lost
crazy.
like 10 pounds in like 2 weeks, maybe a little more than two
Go
weeks.
crazy. That's what's up.
Super proud of her right now. Like it's hard, man. Like so
Yeah.
it's hard to live in America, especially with like me and my brother who both trying to gain weight. So there's carbs
Mm-hmm.
everywhere. And
Yeah.
she's doing, the zucchini noodle pasta, and she's eating like I'm trying to give her the quality animal products and stuff too, and just, using coconut oil and
Mm-hmm.
cream from the farm, raw milk and stuff. So,
Yeah.
well, not raw milk because raw like milk can be high in carbs, but like
Yeah.
raw cream,
Yeah.
raw cheeses, stuff like that. So,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I mean, she's been doing good. I'm really proud of her for that one.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Me
and
too. Cause
yeah, I mean, it's
I
hard, and
definitely want
like
to do.
living nowadays with this whole pandemic going on, like your metabolic
Yeah.
health plays a huge role in your COVID outcome. So I mean,
Yeah.
if there's a time to eat healthy and exercise,
It's
it's right
now.
now. Yeah, it's right now.
It's
That's what
right
I be
now.
telling like my whole family. So
Yeah.
wear that mask all you want, but if you aren't exercising and being healthy, you're missing the
Core.
real jackpot, like the
Yeah.
real preventative, the real preventative tool to help you like not get sick. And if you do,
Yeah.
like I think it was like people with like worse blood sugar management had like worse outcomes, which I mean we kind of
Mm-hmm.
already know that. Like that's not even like conspiracy. That's like I mean they already know you got
Yeah.
comorbidities, you got diabetes, it's gonna be worse.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
For sure.
yeah, it's definitely important. That's why I immediately thought about having you on the podcast because I was like, yo, we can resonate with music and health too. So
Wealth of health. Yeah.
that's two things that I think is good to talk about. So man, I appreciate you coming on, honestly though. Like
Yeah,
we should
man.
do this
Of
again.
course.
If everything sounds good and like the audio is good and everything, I'll probably upload it if that's cool with you.
Yeah, man.
Otherwise we'll
100%.
just do another one and kind of pick back up, and I definitely want to have you back on again too. So
Hey, I'm down.
yeah, so
I'm
I
down.
appreciate it. Let everybody know again one time like where they can find your music and
Yeah,
everything.
man. Moody
Yeah,
17, Spotify, Moody 17, Facebook page, Moody 17. It's all the same. On Instagram, it's Moody 171M. Probably some other socials are Moody 171M as well. They're all the same. Yeah, just search me up and you will find me. And
perfect.
you'll
Hit this
enjoy the
man up
music.
for beats. I know I got rappers that are gonna be watching this, so hit them up for beats. I'm telling you. So yeah, man.
Peace.
Thanks again. I appreciate it. I'm about to go and like finish up some dinner
Yes,
myself and
sir.
maybe watch a movie with the family. So
All right, man. Enjoy.
yeah, no, I appreciate it. Thanks again, guys, for tuning in to the Fountain of Truth podcast. I'll be back with another episode as soon as I can. It's been like a year since I did one, so take it easy,
Peace
guys.
out, man.
Peace out, bro.